Hi, guys. Welcome to the next day of reading. We actually have a special guest today, and my husband's going to be reading the part of Tom, so you get to hear two different voices. So, the scene dims out. The interior is dark, faint light in the alley. A deep voiced bell in a church is tolling the hour of 5 as the scene commences. Tom appears at the top of the alley. After each solemn boom of the bell in the tower, he shakes a little noisemaker or rattle, as if to express the tiny spasm of man in contrast to the sustained power and dignity of the Almighty. This and the unsteadiness of his advance made it evident that he has been drinking. As he climbs the few steps to the fire escape landing, light steals up inside. Laura appears in nightdress, observing Tom's empty bed in the front room. Tom fishes in his pocket for door keys, removing a motley assortment of articles in search, including a perfect shower, of movie ticket stubs, and an empty bottle. At last he finds the key, but just as he is about to insert it, he slips from his fingers. He strikes a match and crouches below the door.
One crack and it falls through.
Laura opens the door. Tom, what are you doing?
Looking for a door key.
Where have you been all this time?
I've been to the movies.
All this time at the movies?
There was a very long program. There was a Garbo picture and a Mickey Mouse and a travelogue and a newsreel and a preview of coming attractions. And there was an organ solo and a collection of the Milk Fund, simultaneously, which ended up in a terrible fight between a fat lady and an usher.
Did you have to stay through everything?
Of course. And I forgot, there was a big stage show. The headliner on this stage show was Malvolio, the magician. He performed wonderful tricks, many of them such as pouring water back and forth between pitchers. First it turned to wine, then it turned to beer, and then it turned to whiskey. I knew it was whiskey and finally turned into because he needed somebody to come up out of the audience to help him, and I came up. Both shows. It was Kentucky straight bourbon. A very generous fellow. He gave souvenirs.
He pulls from his back pocket a shimmering rainbow-colored scarf.
He gave me this. This is his magic scarf. You can have it, Laura. You wave it over a canary cage and you get a big bowl of goldfish. You wave it over the goldfish bowl and they fly away canaries. But the wonderfulest trick of all was the coffin trick. We nailed him into a coffin and he got out of the coffin without removing one nail. There's a trick that would come in handy for me, get me out of this 2x4 situation.
He flops on the bed and starts removing his shoes. Tom, shh!
What are you shushing me for?
You'll wake up Mother.
Goody. Pay her back for all those rise and shines. You know it won't take much intelligence to get yourself into a nailed-up coffin, Laura. But who in the hell ever got himself out of one without removing one nail?
As if in answer, the father's grinning photograph lights up. And remember, guys, anytime we see the father, it's in reference to him abandoning them. Scene dims out. Immediately following, the church bell is heard striking 6. At the 6th stroke, the alarm clock goes off in Amanda's room, and after a few moments, we hear her calling, "Rise and shine, rise and shine. Laura, go tell your brother to rise and shine."
I'll rise, but I won't shine.
Laura, tell your brother his coffee's ready. Laura slips into the front room. Tom, it's nearly 7. Don't make Mother nervous. Tom, speak to Mother this morning. Make up with her. Apologize. Speak to her.
She won't to me. It's her that started not speaking.
If you just say you're sorry, she'll start speaking.
Her not speaking. Is that such a tragedy?
Please. Laura, are you going to do what I asked you to do, or do I have to get dressed and go out myself? Going, soon as I get on my coat. She pulls on a shapeless felt hat with nervous, jerky movements, pleadingly glancing at Tom, rushes awkwardly for coat. The coat is one of Amanda's, inaccurately made over the sleeves, too short for Laura. Butter and what else? Just butter. Tell them to charge it. Mother, they make faces when I do that. Sticks and stones can break our bones, but the expression on Mr. Garfinkel's face won't harm us. Tell you his coffee is getting cold. Do what I asked you, will you? Tom? Laura, go now or just don't go at all. Going. A second later, she cries out. Tom springs up and crosses to the door. Amanda rushes anxiously in. Tom opens the door.
Laura?
I'm all right. I slipped, but I'm all right. Amanda peering anxiously after her. If anyone breaks a leg on those fire escape steps, that landlord ought to be sued for every cent he possesses. As Tom enters listlessly for his coffee, she turns her back to him and stands rigidly facing the window in the gloomy gray vault of the areaway. Its light on her face with its aged but childish features is cruelly sharp, satirical as a Damier print. Tom glances sheepishly but sullenly at her averted figure and slumps at the table. The coffee is scalding hot. He sips it and gasps and spits it back in the cup. At his gasp, Amanda catches her breath and half turns, then catches herself and turns back to the window. Tom blows on his coffee, glancing sideways at his mother. She clears her throat. Tom clears his. He starts to rise, sinks back down again, scratches his head, and clears his throat again. Amanda coughs. Tom raises his cup in both hands to blow on it, his eyes staring over the room at his mother for several minutes. Then he slowly sets the cup down and awkwardly and hesitantly rises from the chair.
Mother? I apologize, Mother.
Amanda draws a quick, shuddering breath. Her face works grotesquely. She breaks into childlike tears.
I'm sorry for what I said, for everything that I said. I didn't mean it.
My devotion has made me a witch, and so I make myself hateful to my children.
No, you don't.
I worry so much. Don't sleep. It makes me nervous.
I understand that.
I've had to put up a solitary battle all these years, but you're my right-hand bower. Don't fall down. Don't fail.
I try, Mother.
Try, and you will succeed. The notion makes her breathless. Why, you're just full of natural endowments. Both of my children, they're just unusual children. Don't you think I know it? I'm so proud, happy, and feel I've so much to be thankful for, but promise me one thing, son.
What, Mother?
Promise, son, you'll never be a drunkard.
I'll never be a drunkard, Mother.
That's what frightened me so, that you've been drinking. Eat a bowl of Purina.
Just coffee, Mother.
Shredded wheat biscuit?
No, Mother. Just coffee.
You can't put in a day's work with an empty stomach. You've got 10 minutes. Don't gulp. Drinking too hot liquids makes cancer of the stomach. Put cream in it.
No, thank you.
To cool it.
No, thank you. I want it black.
I know, but it's not good for you. We have to do all that we can to build ourselves up. In these trying times we live in, all that we have to cling to is each other. That's why it's so important, Tom. I sent out your sister so I could discuss something with you. If you hadn't spoken, I would have spoken to you.
What is it, Mother, that you want to discuss?
Laura.
Oh, Laura.
You know how Laura is, so quiet, but still waters run deep. She notices things, and I think she broods about them. A few days ago, I came in and she was crying.
What about?
You!
Me?
She has an idea that you're not happy here.
Who gave her that idea?
What gives her any idea? However you do act strangely. I'm not criticizing, understand that. I know you're ambitious. Do not lie in the warehouse, that like everybody in the whole wide world. You've had to make sacrifices, but Tom, life's not easy. It calls for Spartan endurance. There's so many things in my heart that I cannot describe to you. I've never told you. But I loved your father.
I know that, Mother.
And when I see you taking after his ways, staying out late, and you've been drinking the nights you were in, that terrifying condition. Laura says that you hate the apartment and that you go out nights to get away from it. Is that true, Tom?
No, you say there's so much in your heart that you can't describe to me. That's true of me, too. There's so much in my heart that I can't describe to you. So let's respect each other's...
But why? Why, Tom? You always so restless. Where do you go to at nights?
I go to the movies.
Why do you go to the movies so much, Tom?
I go to the movies because I like adventure. Adventure is something I don't have much of at work, so I go to the movies.
But Tom, you go to the movies entirely too much.
I like a lot of adventure.
Amanda looks baffled, then hurt as the familiar inquisition resumes. He becomes hard and impatient again. Amanda slips back into her querulous attitude toward him. Most young men find adventure in their careers.
Then most young men are not employed in a warehouse.
The world is full of young men employed in warehouses and offices and factories.
Do all of them find adventure in their careers?
They do, or they do without it. Not everybody has a craze for adventure.
Man is by instinct a lover, a hunter, a fighter, and none of those instincts are given much play at the warehouse.
Man is by instinct. Don't quote instinct to me. Instinct is something that people have got away from. It belongs to animals. Christian adults don't want it.
What do Christian adults want then, Mother?
Superior things, things of the mind and the spirit. Only animals have to satisfy instincts. Surely your aims are somewhat higher than theirs, than monkeys, pigs?
I reckon they're not.
You're joking. However, that isn't what I wanted to discuss.
I haven't much time.
Sit down.
You want me to punch in red? You want me to punch in red at the warehouse, Mother?
You have 5 minutes. I want to talk about Laura.
All right. What about Laura?
We have to be making some plans and provisions for her. She's older than you, 2 years, and nothing has happened. She just drifts along, doing nothing. It frightens me terribly how she just drifts along.
I guess she's the type that people call homegirls.
There's no such type, and if there is, it's a pity. That is, unless the home is hers, with a husband.
What?
Oh, I can see the handwriting on the wall as plain as I can see the nose in front of my face. It's terrifying. More and more you remind me of your father. He was out all hours without explanation and left, goodbye, and me with the bag to hold. I saw that letter you got from the Merchant Marine. I know what you're dreaming of. I'm not standing here blindfolded. Very well then, do it. But not till there's somebody to take your place.
What do you mean?
I mean that as soon as Laura has got somebody to take care of her, married, a home of her own, independent, why then you'll have to go free, to go wherever you please, on land, on sea, whichever way the wind blows you. But until that time, you've got to look out for your sister. I don't say me because I'm old and don't matter. I say for your sister because she's young, independent. I put her to business college, a dismal failure. Frightened her so much it made her sick to the stomach. I took her over to the Young People's League at the church, another fiasco. She spoke to nobody and nobody spoke to her. Now all she does is fool with those pieces of glass and play those worn-out records. What kind of life is that for a girl to lead?
What can I do about it?
Overcome selfishness. Self is all that you ever think of. Tom springs up and crosses to get his coat. It is ugly and bulky. He pulls on his cap with his earmuffs. Where is your muffler? Put your wool muffler on. He snatches it angrily from the closet and tosses it around his neck and pulls both ends tight. Tom, I haven't said what I mind to ask you.
I'm too late to.
Down at the warehouse, aren't there some nice young men?
No.
There must be some.
Mother.
Find out one that's clean living, doesn't drink, and ask him for out for your sister.
What?
For sister, to meet, to get acquainted.
Oh my gosh.
Will you? Will you? Will you? Will you, dear?
Yes.
Amanda closes the door hesitantly and with a troubled but faintly hopeful expression. So we're going to stop there for today, guys. As you can see, the relationship with Amanda and Tom is continuing to develop. You see the resentment they both have for each other. But it's really important to look at how Laura is represented here and how she's seen as weak by not only her mother, but also by her brother, and why that is the case.